Hello friends, welcome to my YouTube channel Odontology, the study of teeth. So today I am going to show you briefly about carving of maxillary first molar. So before starting the actual procedure, all the preliminary procedures has been done. Okay, that is crown length has been taken and there's root length. So when you see the root length in buccal, okay, the buccal is 12 mm and palatal is 13 mm because the maxillary first molar will have long root palatally. Okay, so palatal measurement is 13 mm and buccal it is 12 mm. Okay, you remember this. However, it is already there in your textbook. For exam purpose, you can remember and do the carving. Okay, doing a practical exam. So after that, next step we move on to that mesiodistal diameter measurement has been taken at crown and cervix, both on the buccal side and the palatal side. Okay, after that what I have done is I drawn the outline by seeing the textbook of Wheeler's dental anatomy. So from here we are going to start the actual carving. Okay, start carving from mesial and distal as usual procedure. Okay, till you reach the outline. Do it very slowly. Slightly, as a beginner you feel slightly difficult in carving of maxillary first molar. By practice you can learn better. Okay, don't worry. Follow each and every step for the carving of maxillary first molar. Hold the carver and the block very firmly when you're doing the carving. Don't slip, it should not get slipped away. So after mesial and distal carving has been done, so you can see that mesial and the distal aspect have been carved. Okay, so after that slightly you carve on the cuspal region also. Okay, for molar, when you see the from the buccal aspect, both buccally and palatally. Follow the contour. Okay, don't forget that. Follow the contour, because you need for the descriptive purpose. I want to explain that your maxillary first molar will have 4 cusp in total. However, there will be a 5th cusp. Okay, located mesio-palatally, that is called as cusp of carabelli or the 5th cusp. Okay, that should be replicated in your carving. So totally the maxillary first molar will have 5 cusp. Okay, so after that slightly remove and give a wedge shaped removal of the fangs from the buccal aspect. Okay, here on the palatal also make it wedge shaped. Follow the contour of the outline. Okay, you got it. So I'll just repeat. After drawing the outline, carve from mesial and distal. When you complete the carving of the mesial and the distal surfaces, slightly remove on the cuspal 1/3. Okay, so for posterior it is called as cuspal. Okay, don't call it as incisal. It's always call it as cuspal. Okay, for all posteriors. So cuspal 1/3, I just remove the wax and follow the contour both mesially and distally. Okay, same thing I followed on the palatal aspect. So after that what we are going to do is you have to carve on the buccal and palatal from the mesiodistal outline. Okay, so same thing again I'm going to follow. Okay, draw again the midline. Use your scale. So I have drawn the outline of the mesial and the distal. Same thing what we have done on the palatal as well as the buccal. Okay, then start carving from the buccal and palatal. Okay, till you reach the outline on the mesial and distal. Okay, so from the palatal and the buccal, you have to carve until you reach the outline. You have to carve. Okay, so after that same thing what we followed on the buccal and the palatal aspect, on the cuspal 1/3 you have to remove slightly of the wax, giving a wedge shaped appearance. Okay, making for the formation of cusp. Fine. like this you have to remove slightly, slowly. Okay, don't be right to bed. Sometimes it may resulting in breaking of the block. So don't give too much of pressure. Slowly you can do it and remove the wax. Okay, hold the carve in a slanting position and carve. Same thing, cuspal should be carved. Cuspal 1/3 should be carved. What we done on the buccal and the palatal aspects. Okay, so 4 sides been carved. Fine. So next is defining the block or the crown portion away from the remaining wax block. Okay, so that is same what we done in the other carvings. Use the sharp end of the carver on the cervical 1/3. You scoop out the wax or draw the margin, cervical 1/3 margin, and start carving on the cervical line. Fine. So that is the procedure. Remove the wax from there. Maxillary first molar is a very important theory topic to be studied. Okay, for exam they may ask you as a 10-mark essay question, or sometimes short note also. Any particular aspect they will ask you in exam, university exam. The most common question for 5-mark short note will be the occlusal aspect of maxillary first molar alone. They may ask you as a short note question. Okay, or long essay they will ask you for in detailed description of the morphological anatomy of the maxillary first molar. They will ask you in detail for long essay. Fine. So once it is carved from the cervical 1/3, okay, we have to define that area. All the aspects you have to carve. Okay. So on the palate buccally, below the cusp, okay, below the cusp, okay, there should be one groove. Okay, that is indicating your buccal groove. Okay, so from there also you have to carve and make it a cuspal properly. Okay, carve the cusp properly from there. Once you draw the groove, you carve the excess wax surrounding the wax block away from this groove. Okay, buccal developmental groove. So that will helps you to define that area properly with that of the cusp regions. Okay, you got a shape. So from the crown, from the crown shape of the crown, from the buccal aspect it is trapezoidal. Okay, on the occlusal aspect it is roughly rhomboidal. Always remember that. On the palatal also one groove should be formed. From there also you have to carve. Draw properly. Okay, slowly and properly you have to carve. Make sure that groove should be merged with that of the remaining wax block on the cuspal region. Fine. So now you got the palatal buccal groove as well as the palatal groove. Okay, so this is your mesial aspect and this is your distal aspect. Okay, so once all the initial steps have been done and carved on the all the aspects, now we are going to move on to the carving of your occlusal aspect of maxillary first molar. Okay, in this carving the most important aspect to be carved is occlusal aspect of the maxillary first molar. Okay, so from here when you view this from this angle, from the occlusal angle, so this is your buccal cusp, no change in that. Okay, towards here is your mesial, this is your distal, and this is your palatal. You got it? So this forms your mesiobuccal cusp. Okay, this is your mesiobuccal cusp and this is your mesiopalatal cusp. This is the large cusp. Okay, so this is your mesiobuccal cusp and this is your mesiopalatal cusp. Here is your distal, so accordingly it is distobuccal cusp. Okay, distobuccal cusp and distolingual cusp. You got it? So from there only we are going to do all the carving works for the occlusal aspect of maxillary first molar. So first initially we will draw one small outline on the occlusal view of the carving. Okay, so one here, another groove starting from buccal to mesial. First groove should be starting from buccal to mesial, and the second groove should run from distal to palatal, joining with your central groove. Okay, central developmental groove. Okay, giving a morphological outline of a head shaped structure. Okay, when you see the occlusal aspect of maxillary first molar, the occlusal grooves will form as a head shaped. That is more important. Then start carving the way we carve the transverse ridge for the premolars. Okay, what we done for the maxillary first premolar carving is there. For the transverse ridge, what we carve like this, slanting and slowly remove the wax portion, which forms as a small elevation called as transverse ridge in the scene in the premolar. Same thing you are going to do in the carving of the occlusal aspect. Okay, slowly remove the wax like this till it's the groove. There also you will get a small depression or a valley, and automatically one groove will be formed there also. Okay, so I need a guidance. For that I have drawn the outline. Okay, for the guidance. As a beginner you have to do all these things. Okay, and only you will learn properly. Slowly you do the carving. Okay, again redraw in order to get a proper guideline. Okay, slightly it will be confusing when you see for the first time the carving. Okay, when I finish only you will understand better. It will be difficult only to learn, but to keep on doing only you will understand better. So this video will help you as a guidance. Always use this groove tip, for drawing the grooves and carving. Use the tip of the carver. Here forms your triangular fossa. Okay, the base of the triangular fossa will form your marginal ridge. Okay, the base of the mesial triangular fossa and the distal triangular fossa will form your marginal ridge, mesially and distally. From the distal fossa, here is the distal fossa. So see, you can see the carving of the occlusal aspect of the molar tooth. Okay, see on the distal side it is more curved. Okay, when you see the anatomy of the occlusal aspect of the molar tooth, on the distal outline should be more curved. Can you see this difference? So for that what we have to do, what I have to do is, either you can use the carver and do the carving, or you can just gently do the polishing work on the distal outline. Okay, in order to give it a round shaped structure. Okay, this gives a roughly rhomboidal shaped appearance of the occlusal aspect of the maxillary first molar. Okay, so the grooves has been deepened again and given a proper cuspal region with the carving of the palatal as well as the buccal grooves. Okay, so small correction has to be done in the occlusal aspect before completing the exact carving. So I'm going to move on to the carving of the root aspect, because concurrently after doing the carving of the root, concurrently I do have to correct any changes that are required for the carving of the occlusal aspect as well as the crown portion of the molar tooth. Okay, so when you see the root portion of the maxillary first molar, the molar tooth, you can call it, we can't call it as a maxillary first molar, you better call it as maxillary molar, because all the two molars, that is maxillary first molar as well as maxillary second molar, will have three roots. Okay, remember that maxillary first molar and the maxillary second molar will have properly three trifurcated roots. Okay, divided properly. Okay, trifurcated root. Okay, so however maxillary third molar will have either it is a divergent root, okay, giving it three roots, or it may be maximum in fused root. Okay, you don't want to worry about the maxillary third molar. So we are going to concentrate only on the maxillary first molar tooth. Okay, so for the carving of the molar root, draw the outline of the molar root portion of the molar tooth. Okay, it's a trifurcated root. Okay, two buccal root can be evident. When you see the buccal aspect, two roots has been seen, that is your mesiobuccal root and distobuccal root, and one more root is seen in the palatal, okay, called as palatal root. As I told initially in the beginning of the video, that is the buccal root is 12 mm and palatal it is 13 mm. Okay, that means the palatal root is longer than the buccal root. Okay, so start carving, same thing what we done in the carving of the crown portion. The root also start carving from the mesial and the distal portion till you reach the outline. Okay, so after drawing the outline of the buccal and the palatal, I have done the carving on the mesial and the distal aspect till there is the outline. Okay, so as I told, it is a trifurcated root, so small bifurcation has to be done on the buccal aspect. Okay, before that we move on to the drawing the outline of the distal aspect as well as your mesial aspect. Okay, first we start with the mesial. Okay, draw the midline. Okay, one image that should be continued. Okay, then one that is giving a proper work to be done. Okay, guidance plane. So here again draw this, by seeing the textbook you draw the outline of the mesial and distal root. Okay, just imaginary drawing or rough drawing is highly enough. It's not imaginary drawing, sorry. Draw one rough diagram. Okay, I'm not sure that don't make it too much exact. Okay, if it is getting it, no problem. Okay, if you are good enough in drawing, means no problem. So here on the distal aspect, again you have to draw a rough outline. Okay, then start carving on the buccal and palatal till you reach the outline. Okay, remove the wax from here and carve. So after carving from the buccal and the palatal aspect for getting the outline of the mesial and distal, okay, we are supposed to do the carving of this furcation area, trifurcated root. Okay, their portion we have to carve. Okay, I just want to repeat the procedure, 2 minutes. So what I've done is, for the carving of the root portion, I've drawn the outline on the buccal and the palatal, started carving from the mesial and distal. Once this initial carving has been done, again I turned on to the mesial and the distal surface, where I redrawn the outline of the mesial and distal portion of the root. From there I started carving from the buccal and palatal. Okay, now I'm going to show the carving of that furcation area. Okay, so what is done is, I think I have shown in the maxillary first premolar. Okay, almost same only. Only thing is, what I do is use the flat end of the carver and the sharp portion of the cover, slightly like this, you scoop it the wax from there. Okay, equally. Okay, follow the contour of this. Here I can see one rough diagram, rough triangular outline I have drawn, triangular form. Okay, following the outline only I'm carving. Okay. So with this I have completed the carving of the root portion. So it's a trifurcated root. Okay, 3 roots should be seen. Okay. Then I've done the polishing also. So very nicely it came. The work has come. Okay. The carving of the maxillary first molar. So before ending the video, I like to show you the carving of the cusp of carabelli. Okay, that is seen in the mesio-palatal cusp. Small groove you have to draw, one small triangle here. Okay, then carve from that outline. Okay, again, and make it slightly elevated. Small bulginess or elevation. Got it? So I've drawn the outline there, then started carving over the groove area. Then I merged with that groove with that of the mesio-palatal cusp. Okay, so with this it results in the formation of cusp of carabelli or the fifth cusp. Slightly somewhat is needed. So I have done the carving of the cusp of carabelli here in the mesio-palatal cusp. So and then I merged that outline with that of the cusp region. So with this we complete the carving of the maxillary first molar. So small corrections or anything you can need means you can do on the work before the submission of your work. So I think I don't have any other this one to be done. So I complete this carving. Okay, properly polishing has to be done. So I told how to do a polishing work. So I have done. It's nicely shining, showing more shining polishing work. Okay, with this I end the video. If you like this video, please subscribe to my channel and press the like button. Thank you.